Hey folks, I hope everybody's well. So it was back in March of this year, 2026, we received that phenomenal 20-inch footprint that, that individual is probably about 12 feet tall, from Neff's family. Neff's, his print's like 16 and a half inches. But that same around the same time, I was given something that very special, and I've just been given permission to share it. So I was given a photograph. As I've talked about so often, that Sasquatch manipulate our electronics, and I've talked to many people that have ended up with weird pictures on their phone or on a camera. And I've had my this started back in 2013, basically. Dwayne and I were on location, and at one point our phones got messed with. There was some tech stuff going on there right in front of our faces, basically on location, between the two of us. So we knew it was them messing around. And since I've had numerous incidents where basically I got to keep my phone in my pocket, because I one night they got hold of it. I had some explaining to do to a few people, right? And I'm pretty sure it was Ninyanin, and he was a bit rude. So I keep that on me during visits, and not that they probably could mess with it even while it's in my pocket. That's not happened, but not saying that can't. My point being is they mess with our electronics, and they did something which, a lot of people are going to have a difficult time, grasping this, and that's okay. I'm here to share experience and knowledge and basically teach you about Sasquatch, how they show up, what they're capable of. And, I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that I haven't been exposed to yet. But I was, at one point back in March 2026, I asked, can I see more members of your family? And I've kept this quiet, but Neff has a woman. And I don't, whatever terminology you want to use, I don't want to say it's his wife, because that's a human construct. His mate, his woman. And they took a photograph of mine, which is basically my Facebook profile picture. Has been for a while, and it was given back to me, and they manipulated it. At first I didn't see what they had done, and I sent it to Dwayne. I said, why would they do this? And in the background they showed themselves, but it was so dark I couldn't see it. This blind old guy here. So I'll show you the original photograph, then I'll show you the manipulated photograph, then I'll show you the cropped photo, and then I'll show you the enhanced photograph. And there is no other photograph like this in this subject, by far. Her name is Nadja, Nadja. We were given her name. So I've waited, March. I've waited since March to have another recent visit where I was finally able to ask permission. Because when you're given something this good, you just, out of respect, have to ask permission to show that. I actually didn't expect them to say yes, but they did. They said yes, and I was kind of surprised, right? So this. And as I've mentioned, they're all different. They're all different individuals, just as we are, because they are human types. They have different races as we do as humans. So here's the photograph, the original one of myself, and then here's the photograph of the manipulated image. And then here is a cropped version, so you can see her better. And here is the enhanced version, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So I have something else to share that was just happened this past weekend, which was really interesting. So we went to the Contacticon first annual, if it's annual, I don't know. Friend Tyler there, he put it all together, did a fantastic job. And at one point we had a couple of torrential downpours. We had a couple of thunderstorms yesterday. So after the thunderstorm, there's where you drive in, basically, there's trackways there from vehicles, right? So after the thunderstorm, it was all wet. Most of the people were down the far end doing some, I think it was Qigong yoga stuff, something like that. So most of them were down there. They didn't see this. There was a couple of us back towards the camp area, or actually they were camped kind of all over the place, but back towards the area where we would hang out in the trees down near the lake. And that beautiful spot too, which was in Utterson, Ontario, up near Bracebridge area. And so after the rainfall, Michael Vaston, he comes up to me, says, "Hey, I found a footprint." So as we were walking back, to go take a look at it, I stumble upon another print. Well, actually 3 more. As soon as my foot touched the mud, I went sliding, I almost went down. It was so slippery. And what I noticed was everybody that stepped on that mud afterwards, because I was showing, a bunch of the folks there, anybody who was stepping on the mud, I was saying, be careful, because everybody was, as soon as you touch it, you went sliding. So what ended up happening, this one footprint, and this is showing humor, they put it beside a shoe print, roughly the same size too. But after that, it was a big, huge step. So I think it was a left foot, and then a big, huge step to a right foot. And then the next step was a right foot. There was no impact, there was no slide in any of those prints. And there was no impact from that massive step. And then that second step, the foot after it was the same foot. So it went, I think, left, right, right, which is a signature thing that they do. It's a WTF moment. They always like to get you scratching your head, right? So after that, I documented some of that. We went up and looked at the other print, which was a bit bigger, and it looks like there's no slide in it, and it was only one single print. There's grass in that around the region, but there's no other prints leading up to it or away from it. And sadly, I didn't film the other stuff. I thought I did, but I guess I was just caught up in the moment, right? There was 2 other sets of 2 prints, and each one was, I think it was right, whatever it was, right or left. Each set of 2 was the same foot, and they were both in a straight tightrope walk line. So 2 prints, say left, left, and left, left, or right, right, whatever it was. I can't remember. But this is exactly what they do. And all 8 footprints showed no slide. So, just very bizarre. To me, it has Sasquatch written all over it. So it looks as though for this event that they showed up. And then when I left the next day, there was prints in the sand down by the beach. Hey, buddy. There was, oh, my little guy's coming up. There was prints in the sand down by the beach. And I'll show you, my foot beside the one. The toes, it's a wider foot. And I don't think anybody was there with a foot that wide. It's not, fantastically wide, but it's typically wider than most feet. And there wasn't anybody there, I don't think, that had that wide of a foot. So there was human prints in the sand, definitely. And then there was other ones where just the toe markings, it looked squatchy to me, right? And there was a couple of the prints, you know, looked like they were directly in front of each other, you know, as that straight line, that tightrope. But I'm quite confident that the Sasquatch showed us their presence. So, you know, I was able to show people why those prints would be Sasquatch, just how they're placed. There's no stagger. There's, you know, it's a tightrope fashion. There was no slide. There was no impact from big steps or hopping, you know, on one foot. It's like, okay, you put one foot there. How do you get that other one without having a, you know, your opposite leg down, basically, and putting that other foot down? So you would have to hop logically in our Newtonian 3D perspective. You would have to hop, and there would be impact there. There is none. And that was on both sets of 2 prints. There was no impact on any of them. So the event went great. Fantastic sky. The second night I was there, you know, you see the Milky Way and all kinds of movement going up top, right? But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. And I'm sure I'm going to take whatever from the photograph of Nadja, but hey, I've been sharing truth since day one. Some people have a difficult time accepting it. Some people like to use the terminology and call me a hoaxer, which I've spoken nothing but truth since day one. You guys are just way behind, that's all. You don't have a clue what we're dealing with, and I hope at some point that you, you know, you catch up to speed and maybe you gain some experience and realize that they are interdimensional, they're people, they're highly telepathic, and their abilities are absolutely phenomenal, and they change our understanding of reality. Have an awesome day. So I'm at the 2026 Contacticon in Ontario, and I don't know, there was maybe about 20 something, 25 of us. Maybe, I don't know, something like that. Anyways, Michael Vaston found a print. So he was going to show me, and we come up here, and I slid. We just had rain, right? So I slid in the mud right there. And I stopped dead because I saw this print right there. There's a shoot print right beside it, so it's also interesting that that's like that. But what happened was, so that's a right foot, okay? And then the next one is a big fat step, and it's a left foot. And then the next one is a left foot. I don't see any right markings. And that's something Sasquatch would do, you know, to show it's them. You know, they mess with your mind, right? Make you scratch your head. And then we came up here. There was a couple more prints along here. We're right on the water here. This is actually 3 Mile Lake up in the Bracebridge region. A little beach area here. And I don't see any prints along here. And here was the one that Michael found. I put my, that's it's a left foot. Now, is there slide in that? Possibly. But it's a left foot, and then there's nothing else. You know, sure there's grass along here and that, but just that one single print showing. And nobody was walking barefoot up here. You know, it was raining. In fact, that mud is really slippery. So I don't think anybody could have come walking along and not slipped like I did. As soon as I stepped on it, you know, I almost went down. This is, I'll put my foot beside this. Okay, so I just came walking up here. That's my, it's wet, so that's my slide mark. There's a shoe. That's a right foot. And then right up there is a left foot. So that's like a huge step. And it wasn't a jump because there's no slide. So that's a left foot. And then it's a left foot. And that's what Sasquatch do.
These ones here weren't here when we came through.
Yeah, we got Sasquatch presence here. Now we got 2 right foot coming the other way. That, I don't know if that's any slide in there, but and then there's another one there. And this is what they do. This is how they show their presence. It's like, that makes no sense. And when it makes no sense,
I was parked right there.
well, you're not going to see anything. They're invisible.
Wow.
Left foot. That's a left foot.
Yep.
So there's my foot beside it. You know, he could be 7 feet maybe.
Wow.
By the width. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
thank you, and I bet you they're listening, watching right now.
Thank you, Bigfoot.
You know, of course they are, because they just gave us this. These guys are all going to flip out.
Wow.
He's so
Just realized.
And I was like, come down here.
Just for a second.
And that these guys found some prints on the beach here, and they look suspicious. There's a tightrope walk right there. There's 3, left, right. Well, there's 2 there though, but this looks like it goes like that. Just the way those toes look, eh? And these toes as well.
Everybody sleep.
Good.
Good?
Yeah, they go all
You
the
know,
way up until the.
Yeah, obviously, like, those are human right there. That, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to tell when we got so many human prints on here too. But definitely a couple of those prints look
Holy. Yeah, that's big.
that's pretty fat looking right there.
And it's just like the toes.
Pretty wide.
It's like they're walking on just the toes right
Yeah,
there.
and it wouldn't surprise me if these were them, because you know, those yesterday for sure. They're here, right? So all right, cool.